Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. As soon as I turn on the camera, Mia decided to come here and join me. So, hey, Mia, how are you? You could probably just see the tail here. Oh, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry about this. I got a cat on my lap. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Mia, you want to make yourself comfortable? Look at this. Shameless, shameless cat. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Naples fan. Let me say hello to everybody. Good morning, Jill, Arnulfo, Tim, CJ, Anukumar, Mark, David, Tom, Dave, Omar, Kiong, Stacy, Helen, Devin, Penny, Christian, Wade, Diana, Brian. Good morning, Brian. I hope you're well. Mia, are you okay, Mia? You comfortable here? We got Penny, we got Christian, Wade, Deanna, Brian, Bill, Samson, Stephen, Vertuvian, Robert, Jody, Art, Harold, Dave, Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Dr. Serena, my actuary's in the house. Richard, good morning. Mitch, James, Pat, Kirk, Rod, Harry, Thomas, Michael, Eagle Beagle. Good morning, Eagle Beagle. I hope your mom is recovering beautifully. Donald, Gregory, Scuba Chris, the sassy trainer. Duzzy, Maria, Karen, Javad, Illinois grain farmer, Richard from Puente Gorda. We got Sherman, we got David, we got Edgar, Randy, Ray, Paul, Henry, Nathan, Mark, Robert, Naples fan, Keith, Jesse. Jesse, you're in Palm Desert. Look at you. Palm Desert. I like Palm Desert. Dollar Bill is here. We got a lot of people here today. Uh, we got Sherman, David, Edgar, Randy, Ray, Paul, Henry, Nathan, Mark, Robert, Keith, Jesse, Dollar Bill, Debbie, Dave, Kenny, basketball trainers, Stacy. Um, yeah, Mia's right here. You can't really see her head, but she's right here on my lap. Yes, you are, Mia. She's a sweetheart. Hey, Spider Monkey, Rick, Rebecca, Rosalind. Good morning, Rosalind. We got Mike, Ralph, Jeff, Flying Ronan, Peter. Good morning, Peter. Julio, George, Patrick, Raj, Todd, Genevieve, Kiong, Brian, Dr. Serena. 200 to start with. Wow, look at that. Marshall. Hey, Marshall. Ricky, Bob, Doris, Kathy, Hyong, basketball trainer. Good morning, everybody. WHP, Joy, Debbie. And if I miss somebody, I apologize. Peter, good morning, Peter. JB, Chad, Sylvian, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are all doing well today. Happy, what is it today? Thursday? It's Thursday already. All right, let's start with, folks, what is going to be the biggest catalyst today? Can anybody tell me? Hey, Ricky. Hey, Sean. Hey, Bob. How are you? Oh, sorry to hear that, Bob. I hope you're doing better. Liberty, Scampy. Hope everybody's doing well. Can you guys tell me what the catalysts are this morning? By the way, while you guys give me the catalysts, just a few things real quick, housekeeping things. I know you guys can't see it, but I got a cat right on my lap right here, and I'm not gonna let her go. Um, Go here to the HD tab right here, the little cogwheel here, and make sure you're at 1080p. That way you'll be able to see the charts really, really clearly, okay? Number two, if you guys get some benefit out of this, please click the thumbs up button, okay? Would really, really appreciate it. All right, Richard's got it. Retail sales, Walmart, AMD. You got a shotgun approach here. Let's get very specific here. Let's get very specific. What are the catalysts? I wrote them down right here. Okay. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Marshall. Good morning, Alan. Good morning. Retail sales, China, India, Powell report. How about we make it simple? How about we make it simple? How about we just say Fed, a slew of Fed data, particularly if you want to have something particular, particularly the PPI retail sales and Mr. Jerome Powell and industrial production. I would just call it pre-morning Fed data. Okay, pre-morning Fed data. Okay, so we got the Fed data. What else is the major catalyst? Walmart, right? Several people mentioned Walmart. Retail sales PPI. Let's just make it really easy and just call it Fed data. Okay, pre-market Fed data. So we got pre-market Fed. Penny, that is news, but that's not market moving news. But I will talk about that. Pre-market Fed data. Okay, I'm writing it down. What else? Walmart, right? What else? What's the third big one? Come on, guys. You guys can all get it. No, applied materials doesn't come out till after the market closes. Um, I already mentioned India yesterday. Doesn't seem to be moving the market too much. But okay, fine. Let's go with India. That's a continuation of yesterday. No, Dick's buying Foot Locker is not. Dick's buying Foot Locker is not. See, you guys are upsetting Mia. Now she wants to leave. Look at that. Come on, Mia. Let me get you out of here. Hold on one second, folks. Come on, let me get you out. All right. She had enough monkey business. Cisco, maybe, possibly. Okay, I'll add Cisco. That's possible. Cisco, all right. Cisco, we'll go with Cisco. I didn't have that on my list, but fair enough. Cisco, what else? No, not Ukraine. No, 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 no. Folks, Fed data. This is just for anything from here to here is just pre-market Fed data. We'll just leave it at that. There's just too much Fed data. All that is Fed data. Forget about the Fed data. Forget about any of this. All this is a catalyst. I got you. What else is a major catalyst? Man, you guys are all missed it. Joy, why is crude oil down? Sean, why is crude oil down? Why is crude oil down 3%? United Health, yes, yes. Why is crude down, guys? Why is crude down? I keep giving it to you, but you guys want to go in a different direction. USA Iran nuclear agreement. Crude is down. Yes, Iran talks. Yes, yes. No, Middle East deal. Come on, guys. Come on. Nope. Well, the bond market, yeah, that's a technical catalyst, but I'm talking about what are the major catalysts. So I'm going to give it to you. The bond market via bond market, that's this right here. The bond market, the bond market right here. Fed equals bond market. What did the bond market do yesterday? Fed data, bond market, Fed data, definitely Walmart, the Iran US nuclear agreement, and possibly more healthcare and maybe Cisco. Possibly. Those would be secondary. Secondary. So I wrote it right here, from here to here. Fed data, USA Iran nuclear agreement, Walmart, healthcare stocks with a question mark, and Cisco. Right there. And Fed data equals bond market. So, yes. And I do it always before coming here so you guys don't think I'm cheating. It's right here. You could see it, right? You could probably even read it here if you get closer right there. I don't know if you can see it. Right there, Fed data. See, it says right here, Fed data, USA Iran nuclear agreement, Walmart, healthcare stocks with a question mark, and Cisco. Okay. So very, very, very important. Let's turn on TC 2000 for the popcorn. Now this is going to be a golden hour. We usually don't have this much news between 8:30 and 9:15. So the good news is we're going to get Fed data. No, that's not the catalyst today. There's no unforeseeability with tariffs right now. We're kind of in a limbo mode right now. It's not the tariff news, it's the lack of tariff news, Naples fan. So that's more of like the underlying driver of that's more of the underlying top. Okay. So we're watching a soap opera right now. We're watching a show. What is the big theme of this season? Tariffs, China, Trump, right? But that's the overriding that's the big plot. That's the plot. That's the big story. Every morning, every different show, right, has to keep you entertained. So they're going to be talking about what are the catalysts driving those issues. So so just to give you a perspective, just to give you some perspective, okay? Naples fan, just to give you a perspective, the overriding story that we're trying to solve is Trump, tariffs, China. That's the big picture. But but remember, every time you have a story, right? And every time you have a season, you have subplots. And every time you have an episode, hey, here's who's going to be on here this week. It's all pointing to the bigger picture. But the plot of the season is not the story of every episode. You understand? If that was, it's the subplot. The subplot ties together with the big plot. So the big plot right now, the big story is this whole thing with China and Trump, tariffs and Trump, economy and Trump. That's the big picture. That's the underlying concern. But every day we have these little catalysts. And these catalysts is what drives price day in and day out. The big picture is what sets the tone for the market over time. So the market is being driven over the last 30, 50 days by Trump, China, tariffs, uncertainty. But the day-to-day catalysts is what we care about. So Naples fan, big picture, small picture, big picture, small picture. The big picture is we saw a girl at the bar and we really like her. And now the rest of the season is going to be, do we get close to her? Do we get further away from her? Does she put a restraining order against us by the end of the season? Or do we get married? So the big picture is we like the girl. What's going to happen? Are we going to be together by the end of the season? And now every day we break down the little things. So I want you guys to be able to separate the big picture from the little picture. Yes, tariffs is the catalyst, but it's not a catalyst every 5 seconds. That's the overlying concern. Okay. Now, sometimes in the show, you're going to have direct impact on the catalyst, like decisions. Are we going to get married today? That could be part of the show too, right? That's a catalyst. But generally speaking, don't confuse the overriding picture with the small micro things. Basically, don't confuse the micro with the macro. Okay. Look at Boeing, Starlink, Musk relationship is paying off. Uh, uh, okay, whatever you say, does he? Um, let's look at the big picture. So the big picture is USA. Cam. Good morning to you, and good morning, Gustavo. The big picture. The big picture is what we've been talking about. It's the Trump, it's tariffs, it's the bond market. That's the big picture. But that doesn't mean that's the catalyst in and day out. So today the catalysts are what's going to be driving price today, today's high and low, not the overall trend. All right, you guys understand that? Restraining order? What? I'm trying to be funny. All right. So don't try to put don't confuse the big picture with the little picture. And it's always important to know the big picture because if you don't know the big picture, you won't know how the little picture impacts the big picture. So the catalysts today are Fed news, pre-market Fed news, USA Iran nuclear agreement because it has a hell of a big impact on commodities like crude oil, and that can have a major impact on transports. Cisco and Walmart, and question mark, maybe a little more from healthcare. Now, remember yesterday I told you healthcare was a big catalyst? Do you remember the Johnson & Johnson trade we put into the pit? What do you think that trade was based on? Technicals and the catalyst. The subplots are the catalysts. Ringo, if you think it's a funny show, give us a thumbs up. Now, let me give you guys some links. I'm going live with Trader Kane today at 1 o'clock. It'll be a lot of fun. Here's the link for that, and he'll be in the VIP room today. Um, Here's the link for the VIP room at noon. And here's the topics I'll be talking about today. Let me give you my topics. Topics? Does everybody have topics? Taking apart reaction to Walmart earnings. What are key levels and market structure changes after PPI and industrial production? What are key levels for USD bond and gold and what impact it could have on your two favorite sectors, which I'll disclose at lunchtime? Whether momentum levels are penetrating buy levels or pointing to a false breakout. Now, that session right there is worth all your time. How to gauge momentum the right way. A lot of you don't gauge momentum the right way. Fastest moving stocks during the second half of the day. And I'll analyze all 7 mega caps. How about that for a session, huh? I'm on fire today, I tell you. All right, and let me give you the link to Customer Service Live before I get so excited that I poop myself. All right, here we go. There you go. All right, if you're just coming in here, welcome to the Roger Scott Morning Comedy Show. I do try to entertain you here. By the way, let's see if earnings on Walmart are out. Yeah, Walmart is flat right now. I don't see anything on Walmart. I don't know if it came out yet or not. I see an estimate of 57 cents a share, but I don't know if it's out or not yet. Stock's doing nothing. All right, we'll see about that. Hey, Dr. Serena, 475 views, 17 minutes. I'll take it. There you go. All right, so we already know the catalysts today. What are earnings? Well, we know that Walmart's coming out, and we already know Cisco out. Cisco is positive. This should have a positive effect on networking stocks. Today, after the close, you have Applied Material. Now, not only is this one of the top 10 biggest semiconductor stocks, if you were trading in the 90s like I was, this was like Nvidia in the 90s. You probably remember that if you were a trader back in the 90s like I was. This was a big dog. This was like a FANG stock back in the 90s. But anyway, earnings down, but beat estimates. Okay. They beat. Okay. All right. Good. Let's see how the market's doing so far. The Dow's down 155 points. The SPY's down half a basis point. QQQ's down 0.60. SMH is down 1. And we have no upside from global economies. Remember I told you, keep an eye on healthcare yesterday? It's a catalyst. Look what the weakest sector was yesterday. Now, do you think the Dow would have been weak yesterday if healthcare was strong? No. That's why it's important for you to know what the catalysts are, because now you'll be able to gauge the market much more effectively because you don't have to look at a million different things. You only have to look at 4 or 5 things every day to see if they're driving price higher or lower. Capiche? Makes your life much easier. And then what you're looking at, you can actually see the impact of it on the market. Raising prices due to tariffs. What a surprise, Helen. What a surprise. Walmart says it has to raise prices given magnitude of tariffs. Now, do you guys have any idea? Now, I want you guys to. So, Roger, why do you look at Walmart? Well, do you have any impact? Do you have any idea the impact of what Penny just wrote and the impact of that on other stores that are keeping an eye on Walmart? Think about that for a second. Walmart's the big daddy. Everybody's looking at Walmart. So, Yeah, well, Mike, think about if Nike was made in America, what do you think their profit per shoe would be? If they took away all those Chinese 5-year-olds that make Nike shoes, what do you think their profit per shoe would be? You think Nike's coming back to America? You think you can undo 40 years of industrial production like this in 3 months? Come on. All right, we're getting a little out of whack. So when Walmart says it raises prices given the magnitude of tariffs, that's a big F finger to retail sales. It's a big. You think that's going to help Target? You think that's going to help any stores? That's a major catalyst. Now, exactly, Richard. Now, what if the retail sales report also comes, and I have no idea what it'll be, but let's say it comes out really shitty in the next 7 minutes. Do you think we're going to have a real strong market today? No. Do you understand? Now, do you need to look at a million different stocks? No. No, you got Walmart and you got retail sales. We got common themes here. You see what I'm saying? It's the largest retail company overseas and China too. So many companies were, of course, of course, of course. I don't really care what Walmart is doing. I care about what Walmart is saying and the impact of Walmart on other stocks, like the Dow Jones, for example, like Target, for example. See, coming down, down, not good. Like the bond market, for example. This is not good. So again, if we all know what the catalysts are, then it's easier for us to gauge price. Penny says, saw this headline too. Walmart, Target, Home Depot CEO tells Trump prices will rise. Shelves will be empty if tariffs persist. Now, folks, I'm going to get a little political here. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something, okay? A lot of us have political opinions. A lot of us have different political theories. All those theories go out of the windows when your store doesn't have toilet paper or orange juice. Okay? You know, we can have as many political theories as we want, but when you go to Walmart or you go to your favorite bike shop and there's two bikes sitting next to each other and one bike is $500 more than the other and they look exactly the same, you're going to start cursing out the administration. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. When you go to the supermarket and you go and I'm not saying this will happen. So my point is, whatever your political belief is, whatever how strongly you believe in your political party, you're not going to give a shit about that when your store is empty. Okay? I've seen it happen before. People forget about politics when it comes to practicalities. Please tell me I'm saying anything crazy here. And notice, I'm not saying pro benefit. I'm just capiche. When you go to the store and there's no baby food and you have a baby, your political beliefs go out the window really fast. Okay? Exactly. Thank you, Richard. Exactly. So do I, by the way. So do I. I do. I stocked up. Folks, I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't care who you believe in. I don't know how much you love the press. It doesn't matter to me. When it comes to your personal well-being, when it comes to your family, you're going to flip faster than you can say who's your daddy when your life is impacted. Seth says 100% correct. Boyd, we only import 16% of what we buy is impacted by tariffs. No, Boyd. When you look, that's only for finished products, not for supplies, for little parts and little widgets like that. Folks, I'm going to tell you again. I may not know anything about politics, but I do know one thing. When it starts impacting your life, you will not care about politics. And I'm going to move on from there. And if anybody disagrees with me, when you have to pay 50% more for your kid's computer or whatever, you're going to be cursing out whatever administration made that happen. And I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying, and I know that based on 31 years of market analysis. I've seen it happen many, many times before. And I think everybody would agree with me. Okay. You as the consumer will suffer because will have to pay so much more. Yes. Part that goes into 40 impact on Americans from tariffs. Yep. Out of whack. My notes are still on the soap opera. Did the guy marry the girl he didn't know? Not yet. I live in the 80s inflation fixed price changes. Yep. All are already doing it. Will it hurt you walk or a purse? Exactly. Exactly. That's all I'm saying, folks. When it starts to impact you, oh boy. Whew. So let's just want to move on, okay? I'm going to move on from here. We got news coming out and big news coming out. I have everything set on the bond market right here. This is going to be a very interesting session. All right. So, and before we get too excited, from conservative, you're dead on. From a conservative, you're dead on. Thank you. By the way, I'm pretty conservative myself. I don't know if you guys know this. When it comes to fiscal policy, I'm really conservative. Liberal rights, I let them do whatever they want. But when it comes to money, I am very conservative. Speaking of computers, I have to order one for my daughter going to oh, congrats, beautiful. Richard, that's the best money. That's the best money you will ever spend. Moves light bulbs to less convenient locations. They're expecting bare shelves. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at charts. We're starting to see a cool off in crypto. Now, crypto is where folks have been putting their money for the last few days, and we're starting to see a cool off of that. Not a great, but we're approaching the 8-day EMA. I want to see if we can hold on to here or not. My personal suggestion, folks, my personal suggestion is if you are not long Bitcoin. Do you remember what I told you on gold? If you're long gold, stay long gold. If you're not long gold, wait till we pull back. I'm going to tell you exactly the same thing on crypto because crypto's reminding me of how gold looked about a week and a half ago. And folks, I'm not trying to like bring hate or anything like that. I'm just giving you the most common sense. And if you're over 30, you're probably thinking this guy's right because people have very strong opinions about politics till it starts impacting their day-to-day life. Okay? So, anyways. So, my suggestion is wait for crypto to get below the 8-day and let's see if it starts coming back up or pumping down. I have a very strong feeling we're going to come right back into this. Hold on a second. That we're going to come right back into this here. Do you see this? I think we're going to come back. I think we're going to come back into this zone. Matt, I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk about gold extensively. If you just give me a second. There's just so much to talk about today. So, folks, I think we're going to come back right here. Okay. Is China giving us support? No. China's now for the first day since this news came out. Look, it's been kind of choppy. It's coming down. So we have less info here. Data's out. I'm looking at the bond market. Basically, I'm just looking at a reaction from the bond market right here. So far, bonds are up. Let's just see what data is out. I'll just quickly bring this to this other. I'm going to give you it all in order as it comes out. So first off, I love doing this live, by the way. We don't have anything here. We're looking for 230. Remember, I'm concerned if it's above 275,000. If it's below 275,000, it's not even worth talking about. So far, the reaction is positive from the bond market, or neutral at least. Again, I want to do this. I know that you guys enjoy doing this. So let's don't have this data yet. I don't like when they produce everything at one shot. I wish they would stagger them by 5 minutes because then if they would stagger it, we would be able to see, oh, Rich, a lot of news is out, but I don't know exactly which. I get it like a few seconds later. We have a live trade exchange broadcast at work, but I feel bad because Matt loves to trade the E-minis and he loves to have it in his ear. So I just let him use it. But if I had trade exchange, I'd tell you everything live right now. So far, whatever the news is, the bond market's just kind of flat. Anybody have anything meaningful yet for me? This is the number I'm looking at right here. I need this number to be below three. Like this is good. Anything below 3.3, I'll take. This is the number that I'm looking at, folks, right here. And this number right here. These are the only two numbers that I care about. That's it right here. So I'm pressing F5. I'm trying to refresh. Okay, jobless 229. So nothing there. Nothing even worth talking about. That's why this is doing nothing. So, okay, so we know, thank you guys. Thank you for the help. We know the jobless are doing nothing. Let's continue. I get very excited about this. And then we'll be able to see how things settle down too. Nothing yet here. Nothing yet here. How about retail? Oh, that comes out at 8. Oh, retail sales. They wanted one. Not good at all. Consensus 1.0.1. So consensus is pretty much in line, which is not a good consensus. Look at this. They had 1.4% month over month. Now it's 0.1. Thank God it's not negative. 1.1 revised consensus, 0.3. So a little lower, but not that bad. Let's look at bond market again. The big giveaway here is to look at the bond market. So far, bond market's holding up. Let's look at stocks. Stocks are doing well. They're holding up. Bonds are doing well. So far, this report is good. Let's see if PPI 3.1. Let's take a look at that. Okay, 2.4. That's right on the nose. That's good. See, Powell is going to stick it to Trump, at least right here. Now let's see what the core is. But this is good. This is fine. There's no problem there. Does anybody have core? 3 3.1? That's fine. That's fine. So the news is fine. There's no the Walmart news is bad. That's bad. Speaking of Walmart, let's see how the stock is doing. It's pretty flat right now. Walmart is flat. Bond market is flat. I'm assuming this is 3.1. Yeah. 2 point. I want to know what this number is. I'm assuming it's 3.1. SPY, let's look at SPY. Yeah, SPY's looking good. That's what I'm saying. The market's not selling off here. This is not looking bad at all. But again, this is just, pre-morning. Let's look at the Dow. The numbers are not bad. The numbers are not bad. All right, let's see what else is coming out. Empire Manufacturing, Philadelphia, -4, very bad. Manufacturing is shit. Excuse my French, but not as bad as the consensus. Basically, the consensus reports were really bad. And Powell is speaking in about 6 minutes. And we'll have industrial production. The numbers are not bad, folks. The numbers are not bad. The numbers are not bad. The news is not great, but the numbers are not bad. Look at QQQ. It's starting to give up the ghost. Walmart, pretty flat. Bond market coming right back down. But the news is not bad. What's bad is what Walmart is saying about the shelves. I'll talk about that too in a minute. I haven't got to the news yet. Okay, so the news is reasonable. The US dollar is below the 50-day moving average. We're in a pickle right here. We're between our bearish bullish line, but we're below here. So we're kind of in a pickle right here. Crude oil is going down because of the US-Iran nuclear trade talks, which is important. Now, gold. I want to talk about gold. I want to talk about gold. I told you guys for the last couple of weeks that I believed gold was going to go down to the 50-day moving average. And I wanted to see gold trade below the 50-day moving average, and then I wanted it to trade above the 50-day moving average. And I said I want to see it going down to the 3,200 level. Do you guys remember that? I've been saying it every day that we've been here. Kind of like this, kind of like this. So right now, I would think it's okay to start nibbling in gold. nibbling in gold, nibbling. I would put a starter position here, and then I would wait for us to be above 3260 to add. Then I would add again at 3300, and then I would add again around 3400. So I would start looking to buy gold here. I would take a starter position here. A starter position here. Capiche? Does everybody understand, or is there anything here that I did not explain in plain English? Does everybody understand what I just said about gold? They still had this number still hasn't been published here, which is kind of interesting. X Food, Energy, and Trade Services. Look, 2.9 versus 3.4. That's a good number. Fed can proudly say whatever we're doing is making progress, and we don't need to do anything around here. They don't have to take any action around here. So whatever Trump is telling them, they don't need to do anything right now. Things are moving right in the right direction. Economy's getting better. So now let's talk about the market. Let's bring everything together. S&P is down slightly, pointing to a lower open on Wall Street as a rally sparked by U.S.-China trade deal cooled. Basically, do you guys remember what I always tell you? Do you guys remember what I always tell you? Yeah, please feel free to email me anytime, Richard. I usually don't start getting into my emails. I don't usually get into my emails till about 10:30-ish. I usually trade for the first hour, look at the market so I can update you guys. You guys know I'm like a piranha with the Telegram channel the first hour of the day. I'm blowing it up so you guys have all the info you need to be able to trade better. Speaking of which, by the way, remember, I'm doing a webinar today. If you're just joining us, I'll be live with Kane talking about collecting weekly premium on the weekends. This will be a lot of fun. And here's my VIP room. If you guys haven't heard my agenda for the VIP room, it's pretty explosive today. So real quick, let me give you my agenda. I do a lot of stuff today. We're going to talk about taking apart reaction of Walmart earnings, key levels from the PPI and industrial production, USD bond and gold analysis after the market opens, whether momentum levels are penetrating buy levels or giving us a false breakout. That's going to be good. How to gauge momentum the right way, fastest moving stocks during the second half of the day, and mega cap analysis for the top 7. Now, if you're reading this, you're probably saying, Roger, I kind of know a little bit about what you're describing based on what you're doing in the morning. Well, I hope that's the case because we're going to do a second part to it. But this is what I'm talking about. See, when I tell you these topics right now, you can kind of already start extrapolating because you know what the story is. You know what the background story is, okay? Very important. And also, don't forget, Customer Service Live, the Cam and Gustavo show, the best place to be from 10 to 1 p.m. And I hope I hope Jax the Boberman makes his entry. Here, let's see. Yep, 3.1, like you guys said. Hey, this is better. Now, they were expecting 3, they got 3.1. It doesn't matter because it's better than it was a year ago. See, Powell can say, look, it's better than it was a year ago. We're making progress. And he is. Look, 3.4, 2.9, 2.7, 2.4. So even if these numbers are a hair above estimates, they're not looking bad. What's the bond market doing? It looks like it's topping out around here. Doesn't look like it wants to go much higher, which just kind of puts us in a pickle. The Dow is not really doing much, down 132. SPY is down 0.33. Just flat, very, very flat. So, do you guys remember somebody telling you that a major catalyst, typically lasts 2 to 3 days, and then the market starts looking for something new? Have you noticed the whole excitement about U.S. and China? Yesterday pretty much was not, there wasn't much driving it yesterday. And today, market's already down. And look at China, down 1.35. So the point, and global economy is not supporting strength today. How long do I tell you a catalyst left? Likely base here. You did say we would likely base here. I did. Yeah. base, come down. Basically, I'll show you the levels, Jeff. And Jeff, do you remember what I told you about gold several days ago? You remember, Jeff? 3250, 3150, 50-day moving average, hopefully breaking below, closing on top. Start entry position here. And next one would be as we break the 8-day, the next. But basically, this is a starter size. March says Google AI says Dodge may affect government statistics generation. Where are the career government workers? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. That's beyond my pay grade. Locked and loaded, just waiting. All right. Perfect, Jeff. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's continue. A lot of times, what you will read here is something that I've said like 2, 3 days earlier. So I'm a little bit ahead of this. Okay. I just want you to know I'm a little bit ahead of the news report. But that's a good thing. You don't want me to be behind the news. You want me to be ahead of the news. But remember, I told you typically 1 to 3 days, 1 to 3 days, usually 2 to 2.5 days, even if it's a major catalyst. Okay. Even if it's a major catalyst. We're going to be waiting for U.S. economic data, Fed data, remarks from Fed data, earnings, Walmart. What did I tell you the catalysts were? Fed data, Walmart, and Iran, which we'll be talking about here several times. Chip stocks advanced, very, very good. Remember, we have AMAT after earnings. I would be very cautious with chip stocks today, and I would be watching them very carefully the last couple of hours of the day. And I know what I just said, you guys definitely wrote down. Capiche? No, Tony. You mean US is not going to be subject to supply shocks? No, that's what. No, I told you over the weekend, US, Los Angeles, San Pedro. Anybody who lives in Los Angeles, you guys know San Pedro. That's where the ports are. They're at 38% right now. This is why I explained to you somebody last weekend on Sunday had a come to Jesus talk with our president and explain to him how the real world works and explain to him if he doesn't make good with China that we're going to be in a worse position 5 weeks from now than we were before COVID. Do you remember somebody here telling you that a few days ago? Yeah. Okay. So let's get this straight. Powell says we're going to have a supply chain problem. Walmart says we're going to have a supply chain problems. And let's see who else says we're going to have a supply chain problems. Do you remember I told you retail was a catalyst yesterday? Do you remember? Did you see Target yesterday and all the retail stores? Do you remember I gave you this as a major catalyst and I told you the stock on its own means nothing, but it's very essential. Did you guys see retail stocks yesterday? Sorry to hear that, Tracy. Sorry to hear that. Yep. Expect more supply shocks. Do you think that's going to help the US stock market? Supply shocks? We are already below yesterday's low, folks, on the daily. We are already below yesterday's low on the daily. By the way, Jeff, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but I think we're going to consolidate right in this area right here. Right here. Now, in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you something that I've been telling you for the last 5 days. No, when did the news come out with Trump? A few days ago. So I'm going to mention something that I said that I've been saying to you, and it's finally in here, but I want to see if you guys can pick it up. So remember I told you yesterday, keep an eye on AEO, Target, all the retailers were shit yesterday. I'm sorry I'm cursing, but sometimes, I get into it. They withdrew their full year guidance. I buy my shorts from this company. They make very, very nice shorts, by the way. But if you're looking for like a good deal, they have a really good deals. So this is not boding well for the market, and this is reinforcing what everybody's saying right now. Okay. Now, I want to read something to you that this guy is saying right now. Mark Hackett from Nationwide. I want you guys to I want you guys I want you guys to sorry to hear that. That's right, Jeff. That's right. As trade tensions ease, investors are pivoting back to fundamentals, but they may not like what they see. The market has, now I want to read this to you. The market has raced from oversold to overbought in record time. Now, I don't know who this guy is, and I don't really care who he is. But do you guys remember, huh, do you guys remember the last 5 or 6 days? That's because Powell's talking right now. Do you guys remember for the last few days, I've been showing you stocks to the upside and saying, folks, they're all overextended. They're all overextended. I don't like, we got a lot of stocks to the upside, but they're all overextended. Look at this. Look at how far away it's from the 200. Look how overextended it is. Do you guys remember me telling you that specifically the last couple of days? Look at the Bollinger width. Look how overextended we are. Look how overextended we are. Wait for a pullback. We're overextended. We're overextended. This stock is overextended. I had a whole list of stocks for you, and I kept saying, I like it, but it's overextended. I like it, but it's overextended. I like it, but it's overextended. Do you guys remember me saying that? Or is this the first time you guys hear that? Just the last few days. We're overextended to the up, not to the downside, to the upside. We're overextended. We're overextended. Look at the Bollinger width. Look at the Bollinger Biff. Look at every stock overextended, overextended, overextended. The market has raced from oversold to overbought in record time. Have I been telling you guys, I'm very cautious about the upside. Too much, too fast. The gap up needs to cool off. Do you guys remember me telling you this like 50 times in the last 3 days? And when I say 50 times, I mean at least 50 times. Pia DeBrock says, yes, yesterday, a lot. I'm neutral, Tiago. Yes, you guys remember it? Many times. We're overextended in the short term. We're overextended in the short term. We're overextended in the short term. Isn't it nice getting that from me instead of reading it here when it's too late and we're ready to go down already? But have I not? We all know that over one ATR is too much. But have I been saying it before it's here? I've been saying it religiously to you guys. I'm fearful of the upside. I'm fearful of the upside. I like the upside, but I'm fearful of the upside. I like the upside, but I'm fearful of the upside. I've been saying it like a rabid dog. And I've been showing you yesterday. I said, hey guys, we came in yesterday with 117 stocks making 90-day highs. But right now we have 80. Matter of fact, in case you don't believe me, let me show you something. So if you're wondering, hey, should I be coming here every day? Should I be coming here every day? Is this important? Let me show you something. Uh, da, 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 da. Want to teach you something. Look at NVIDIA and Palantir. Both stocks have strong opening but fizzled out. A base. We need a base. Right here. 10:30 a.m. 117. Look. Look what I'm showing you here. The number of stocks making 90-day highs coming into today was over 100. Now it's 63 at 10:30 in the morning yesterday. Boyd, what you're saying right now is just complete. Like, Boyd, where do you? I'm just curious, Boyd, where do you come up with this stuff? Where do you come up with this nonsense, Boyd? Please, I'm just curious. Where do you come up with this stuff? Powell do his, like, where do you come up with this nonsense? He doesn't need any help. He doesn't need any help. We have somebody else that's doing a fantastic job of it. Jesus, please, Boyd, if you don't know, just please, just So I wanted you guys to see, look, look how hard I'm trying to send you guys this. I'm sending you this to you. Hold on here. I want to send this to you. I'll show you this. I sent you a thing yesterday that showed how many were up and how many were down. Divergence. But anyway, the point was I wanted to make sure you guys are aware that the markets are not nearly as strong as they were. Okay? So let's continue this. Sorry, I'm taking a little longer than I should today, but this is important. President Trump stated on Thursday that India has proposed eliminating tariffs on U.S. goods. That's great. Remember, I told you this was a catalyst yesterday. And what are we reading today? We didn't read about it yesterday, but we're reading about it today. Folks, if you don't come to these sessions, you are literally screwing yourself out of good gains. Yeah, like we all know exactly who's causing these tariffs, and it's not Powell. All right. Vice President Jefferson stated on Wednesday that uncertainty could dampen growth and boost inflation. Now, I want you to see something funny, something interesting. Remember a week ago, everything is fine. Everything is fine. We may have to take changes. If something changes, we'll have to take action, but everything is fine. But look after the announcement. Bo- Monetary policy remained well positioned to respond as needed, but tariffs and associated uncertainty could dampen could dampen growth, right? Not will, could dampen growth. Now look at President Goolsbee. Policymakers should avoid reacting to daily fluctuations in equities and policy announcement. If listen to this, I highlighted this. If the increase in tariffs announced so far are less sustained, they're likely to interrupt progress on disinflation and generate at least a temporary rise in inflation. Folks, they didn't say that last week, but they're saying it this week. You see how the rhetoric is changing? If the increase in tariffs announced so far are sustained. In other words, this is what they're telling you guys. If Trump doesn't cut this shit off, we're going to have some big problems. Okay? I'm giving you an interpretation. If Trump doesn't cut this stuff out, we're going to have some big problems. And I agree with that 100%. Earnings, we got Walmart, Applied Materials, be careful. Applied Materials, be careful with chip stocks. Could be a loose cannon right here. Deere and TTO, I don't think this will have much of an impact. We've already had all the Fed data come out. The market huffed and puffed and lost on the SPY everything it gained. TLT it's going to be very hard for the bond market to come out of this. And now the bond market is breaking the low. By the way, no, we just matched the low. Folks, keep an eye on this level. This is a high volume bar. We could bounce here. If we break this, we're in deep shit. If we break this level, folks, if we break 40, 80, 85 on the TLT, if we break 85, we're in deep doo-doo because then we break the liberation reaction to liberation, which is right here. Very, very bad. If it doesn't, we may not break it, but I'm just saying that's a high volume bar right here. So be careful. Be careful. There is no agreement. No one's going to sign anything with you. It's going to take them a year and a half to make that agreement. Okay, let's continue. We're having a really good session today. No politics, please. We already all know exactly who's driving the bus and what's happening. We know the game. Let's not change our Boyd. We're not going to change the story of our show that we've been painting for the last 3-4 months. AM shows the foundation for your day. Trust me. Is there a way? Is this where you do must be? Yeah, this is exactly where the day must begin. All right. I think Trump has a bigger plan. I hope so. He wants to force more foreign investment into U.S. Moreover, he wants to blackmail the foreign institutes to continue to buy U.S. Treasury bonds. That's beyond my pay grade, Matt. I'm not going to speculate. Thank you, Dr. Serena. Very, very kind of you. Europe is down. That tailwind we had from the announcement, remember, 20, 48 hours fizzling out. Rally sparked by the US China trade truce waned. We expected that. Investors shifted their focus to corporate earnings, Walmart, and Fed data. What did I tell you the catalyst was? Folks, sometimes when we read this, we already remember it's the same story every day. We're just looking at it differently. And folks, a lot of the times what you will read here are things that we've talked about several days earlier, like the fact that stocks went from being oversold to overbought way too fast, which is why I have not been too excited about this rally and why I have not been going crazy buying stuff. Uh, and I hope you guys joined me in the Johnson Johnson trade in the pit yesterday. Oil prices dropped on the prospect of a potential U.S.-Iran nuclear agreement that could lift sanctions and increase supply. Now, folks, I don't know about you, but oil is a major global catalyst. In the next couple of weeks, Jeff, to the downside, yes, you're absolutely correcto. Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate you saying that. Now, folks, Richard makes sometimes 100,000 a month, and he's telling you right now that this is one of the pillars of his success. Think about it for a minute. Think about it for a minute. And I'm going to tell you something else. We have folks here who want to be nameless, who make more money than Richard. They don't want any attention. They're private traders, but just letting you know, people make a lot of money listening to my spiel, especially because a lot of times what I say is comes across here a few days later. So this is big. This is big. Look at oil prices. Look at oil prices. Look at crude oil. This is down almost 3%. Anytime you see something down, a commodity down 3%, that's very meaningful. How's gold doing? Gold should rally on this news. All right, let's continue. China closed lower, snapping a 3-day winning streak as investors digested weak credit data. Noticed easing trade tension is not doing anything. At the same time, shipping and port stocks continues to climb on hopes that de-escalation in U.S.-China trade war would spur recovery in shipping demand and freight rates. I'm not holding my breath, but I'll be watching these very carefully. Folks, we may want to isolate 3 or 4 freight shippers. If you guys want to do Uncle Roger a favor, send me a list of your favorite shipping stocks, freight and shipping stocks, specifically ones that have huge exposure to China. If you guys want to do me a favor, save me a little time and get some critique from me on those, let's do it. Send them to me. I'd love to get them. Yes, I'm still short Hertz. That's a fundamental play. That's a play based on the exemption that Trump made on autos after Ekman bought all that Hertz. Okay? Well, I got to get out of here. So, in another indication of easing trade tension, which is fantastic, China Wednesday lifted its restrictions on exports of rare earth and other goods and technology intended for military use. This is fantastic. Still, analysts warned that the absence of a long-term trade deal continues to cast uncertainty over economic outlook. All we're doing is pushing the can back. Japan ended lower. Now, folks, listen and listen good. Europe, lower today. China, lower today, snapping a 3-day winning streak. A 3-day winning streak. Doesn't want to bold. Oh, I know why it doesn't want to bold, because it's already a done document. Japan closed lower today. Global economy is sleeping today. It's not helping us at all, okay? Continued its pullback from nearly a 3-month high. Export-oriented stocks as automakers, electronics slumped. Thursday, as the yen strengthened for a 3rd consecutive day, reducing the value of Japanese exports, right? Things to look at, more healthcare downside, more healthcare downside. Don't send it to me here. Send me an email. Send me an email. And send me an email so I can review it and look at it and really give you some feedback, okay? Eagle Beagle says, trade list prices to watch, alerts level set. My friends do not believe me when I tell them how cool the room is. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wish people who are getting value would click thumbs up. It would be nice, but only once. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So energy stocks. Remember in yellow. Look in yellow. None of you guys picked this as a catalyst for today. Don't you think this is important? U.S. Iran nuclear deal. Energy prices are down 3%. Folks, this is huge. We may have some energy stocks to short on A lines as a result of that. And I haven't given you my A line stocks yet. Is selling Hertz stock today would should be lower? Selling is Hertz selling stock today, which should lower the stock. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's doing today, but Hertz is Hertz is down 1.2% right now. It's down 7 cents right now. And I think Hertz, and I'm going to tell you exactly the same thing that I've said for a while. I think it's going to come down to the base. See, all this is buying Aikman buying, Bill Aikman buying, and I think it's just going to come right back down here, maybe to the low fives, like 455 around there. Energy stocks, folks, energy stocks. This is huge. None of you picked it all of you were stuck with the Fed and healthcare, but none of you, not one person picked this as a catalyst today. Folks, this is big. This is big. You gotta know what the catalysts are. Don't you think after this you're going to be looking at energy stocks today? Do you know the impact of energy stocks on the Dow Jones? Transports, hello, hello. Basic fundamentals here. Okay, Foot Locker. I wanted to spend a little time talking about this because I'm a big tennis shoe guy and I followed this very closely. I want to see this in the streaming services space. Nothing would make me happier than seeing this in the streaming services space. So Foot Locker spiked 69%. They're going to be taken over by Dick's, which I think would be fantastic. And I'm going to tell you why this is happening. Up till now, Foot Locker for the last 2 decades has pretty much been a Nike retailer, right? And they're trying to diversify their store, and folks are starting to buy other brands a lot more. People are going with Hoka's and this and that, so they're trying to diversify into other factors. So Dick's buying them, I think, is a very smart move. I did not see that coming. If you did, fantastic. You're better than I am. But I think this is very, very good. The only drawdown of this is that Foot Locker is not going to be a proxy for Nike anymore. But we can live with that. Cisco, big, good for networking stocks. Remember, chip technology. Just because you see Cisco up doesn't mean it's going to go up. It doesn't mean semiconductors are going to go up. One thing about tech, they're very separated. They've got like three different niches. You got the network, you got the chips, and you got software. And they do tend to do their own thing. All right. All right. We're done with this. Technicals. I'm going to be late to work today. I'm going to get in trouble with myself, with Clyde. Clyde and me is going to report on me today. I'm going to have to write myself a bad report for myself. I think we're going to come down to the 100 day. I don't think we have enough tests. Pretty much what I've been telling you every day for the last 3 days. Please be careful. This is not a breakout. We need to consolidate here. There's too much of a gap here, too much too fast. QQQ. Same thing. Way too much too fast. Consolidation. Wait till we're at least at the 8-day EMA, and then let's see if there's a higher chance of us breaking back down or not. Here's my 5 cents. Here's what I think is going to happen as of right now. I'm going to give you a Picasso drawing, and it's not going to be any different. Nothing here is going to be different than what I've been saying for the last 2 days. We test this area right here. We test this area right here, and then we determine if we're going to go lower or if we're going to break higher. But I think we're going to have to test this area, folks. Capiche? Here, I'm going to post. Do you want me to post this for you? I'll post this for you. There we go. I just posted it for you, okay? In the broad Telegram channel so you can get the Picasso drawing, okay? The Dow. Let's look at the Dow. I really am late today. I don't know what happened, but I'm really late today. Dow's already, look, the Dow couldn't break through this area. And what is it doing? Already coming back to the A line. Now, what am I going to be watching for the Dow? I'm going to be watching for a break below the A line, this bar today, taking us down to this level. And that will cause me to become more bearish on the QQQ as I just showed you a minute ago. Man, we're on fire today. Look at that. Maybe, but the it's not that far away. VIX right now is almost. I mean, we're at 19. I think we will, Jeff. Jeff, I'm 90% sure that for us to do what I just showed you via a few minutes ago, that VIX will come right back up here. I mean, we're not really talking. I mean, look, all it has to do, all it has to do is just come right here. Yeah, I think that the chances of VIX coming above 20, if the QQQ comes down to here, is about 100%, Jeff. So yes, I do believe. I don't think so do I think it's a big deal? No, but do I think the VIX will go up to 20 when this goes here? 100%. 150, 300%. I'd bet Clyde on it that if we break this level right here and come down here, I promise you, I swear to you on my life that the VIX will go up here. That's 100% certainty. Okay. All right. Let me give you stocks. I really do have to get out of here. Now, I don't know why I'm going so late today. We still have good tech here. I think that's all going to come to the wayside unless we see something really, really different today. And I hope we do. The bond market, by the way, look, the bond market went and made a low right at this level right here. And now it's coming back up. The Dow is flat. SPY is doing okay. The bond market, folks, bond market, bond market, bond market. Everything is going to be determined by the bond market. But right now it's reacting really good. This is good. Okay. Speculative is still leading, which makes sense. I don't expect this to continue. We have less than 100 stocks making 90-day highs. So we do have some vulnerability, but we have 150 stocks making 50-day highs. Watch. Yesterday, we had 225 stocks making 50-day highs. Today, we have 150. So we're right at that area. Once this 90-day gets above 100 and stays there, we're okay. But I don't know if we can keep it. And if we break down today, this number will get lower, and this will get below 100. Okay? Yep, that sounds pretty good. All right. Now, let me give you stocks that I'm focused on today. I got a couple of A lines. ZBH, A line to the downside, a beautiful A line to the downside. You know, I should have just worked from home today. I'm already late to work, but I'm not going to do that. Look at that trend line. Nice trend line, breakdown. I like this for a short. Holux, A line to the downside. Same thing. Beautiful A line to the downside. Don't be surprised if you see me shorting these stocks. Thermo Fisher, A line, which already is a breakdown almost to the look how it respected this VWAP right here and how this respected this VWAP. Anyway, Thermo Fisher, SRPT. This has been on my list for the last few days. APLS. Oh, the 20-day cooled off a lot, Jeff. Let's see. That's a good question. I want to see myself. 332, 618, 751, and back to 276. I wouldn't be surprised today if this number was closer to 150 or 200 by the end of today. And I'll be updating you throughout the day, folks. So let's continue. APL, what a beautiful. I'm giving you guys some really nice shorts today, if I do say so myself. This one is interesting. Icon. He's not doing so well. I don't know how liquid these are for options, but Tech, another A line. I'm cooking with gas today, folks. We're cooking with gas. Merck, never mentioned this stock before. Never ever mentioned this stock before, right? Pepsi, and my ex-partner's brother's company. The Bronfmans owned Warner Brothers. I don't know if you guys know this or not. I used to trade for the Bronfmans. I was their private trader for 7 years. The brothers, their older brother, half brother, owns this company or owned this company. Now let me give you long stocks. MNST, Schwab, Chewy. A lot of these stocks are overbought, folks. Not all, but a lot of them are overbought. CRK, Charter, PDD. No, forget this one. I got the wrong. I must have written down the wrong symbol. EHC. I like the stock. Nice compression breakout. And HWM. Wow, I'm late. All right, folks, it was a pleasure. Thank you for being here. You're going to get your update a little later today, the morning update, because it's going to take me about 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get to work. I apologize, but here we are. Thank you all so much for being here. I will be live with Trader Kane today at 1 o'clock talking about weekend income. Now, everybody loves Trader Kane, and everybody's very happy that I brought him into the pit. People love Kane. Kane is awesome. He's been getting a lot of good testimonials. I'll be in the VIP room with the second part of today's session. And here's customer service live. Don't forget, if you guys have questions, don't send me an email. Send it to go to Cam and Gustavo show. Send me trading questions. You guys are welcome. I hope you guys took a lot of notes. There was a lot to talk about today. I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic day. I love you all. And Clyde and Mia say hello. Bye, guys. Bye, guys. Behave yourselves, please. Don't get into trouble. We may be waiting and sitting today. Bye.